Yeah, that's good.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of All or None According to Jack with your host, Jack Toledano, and my good friend, Ove Rendum, direct from Norway. How you doing, Ove? And that's
Doing
a
really
great
good.
shirt, man.
Thank you, thank you. This is a shirt that was sent to me from the US. It's from the Freedom of Rock tour in 2016.
Oh, very nice.
I was supposed to see them live in Spokane, Washington, but my foster dad did pass away from cancer
Oh,
two
wow.
weeks before I was supposed to go. So I had to postpone my tour, and then
Oh,
so my ticket was given to a friend of the couple I was going to go with. So they got me like pictures from the show, this shirt, and
oh, okay.
confetti, and
Oh,
like made
so
like
so
a
like a Kiss Care package, in other words, huh?
yes,
All right, that's cool.
yeah,
Very nice. And while we were talking before we started to record, you had something else you wanted to show everybody. What is that?
yeah. I also have a book I'm very satisfied with. It's a book made from the pictures that Lynn Goldsmith did take with the band from 77 to 1980.
Very nice. Wow,
Yeah,
that
we
makes a
got
great
it's a
coffee
big
table book.
one,
Yeah.
and we
Wow.
got like big pictures of
Awesome.
them, and
Wow.
yeah,
And yeah, it looks like you're. I don't know what that's called. That's like a book cover, but or a partial
yeah,
cover. But
it's something. It's to make it a little better, I guess. And
wow.
of course, it seems like Paul was the man. Two
Yeah.
pages pictures, and
Wow. That the detail in those pictures is just amazing.
yeah, it's really good. Here you got the whole gang.
There you go. All right. Very cool.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so I
It
recommend this
the
book.
towel.
It's a really good one. I won't show any more pictures because there's a lot of pictures that is not
Yeah.
maybe seen by everybody. So buy the
If you
book,
don't mind me
and
asking, what does a book like that cost in US dollars?
I don't recall, but it's probably 50, $60 maybe.
Oh, okay. Wow. Very nice.
I got it on
Um,
Amazon.
oh, wow. Well, so we were comparing notes, and I don't have a KISS book of that size, but I have this book that I bought from our very own Martin Popoff, uh, who I'm actually going to meet for the very first time in another couple of weeks. At SOT Fest, Sea of Tranquility Fest, which is going to take place on October 1st in Poughkeepsie, New York. I can't wait for that to happen. That's going to be so freaking cool. And
I imagine you're gonna have maybe some kind of footage from that gathering.
I don't know. We're gonna try, but I really don't know. Pete has been kind of quiet on that front and basically saying that it's more of just a live event. But we'll
Okay.
see. But I'll try to do what I can do. I mean,
It's $60. $60 you
oh
get for
wow,
Amazon.
yeah. So the book that I bought from Martin, I think I paid what 80 or 90 or something like that. But you know what? It included postage, and you know what? I have no problem supporting Martin. It's he put that together impeccably. So
Yeah.
good
It's
stuff.
definitely he deserves all the dollars he gets for all the work he puts into his stuff.
Right. Yeah.
He is the best, I think, of all of the
Yeah.
people that publish rock and metal.
So sorry to cut you off, but before we get too much off topic, so basically, so this episode is part one of the ranking of the albums of Kiss. So we've already done albums 20 down to 11. So
Yeah.
now we are going to talk about the cream of the crop, our top 10.
Oh,
So, Ove,
yeah,
start us off. What is your number 10? And again, what we're going to do is Ove's going to go 10 to 6. Then I'm going to go 10 to 6. Then Ove's going to give us his top 5, and then my top 5, and we'll say our good nights, and so on and so forth. So, number
yes.
10.
My number 10 is an album that's going to be quite interesting here. For me, it's Unmasked.
Interesting. That was my 20. That's your 10. What do you like
Yeah,
about Unmasked?
I love the songs. I mean, Is That You? Talk to Me, Naked
Mm-hmm.
City, What Makes the World Go Round, Tomorrow, Two Sides of the Coin,
Mm-hmm.
Easy as It Seems. I mean, it's I don't know. I just find this a great album. I
What
just
about
love it
that
because
song
it got a
Shandy?
lot of bass on it and it's
Do you
good
like Shandy?
variation.
Do you like Shandy? It's just a little too syrupy for me.
Shady is not one of my favorites. No, that's true. I like Ace's songs and yeah, because Ace got like 3 or 4 songs on this album, so
Yeah.
it's. But I mean, I like
Always
it.
good
I
when
like
he
the
has
songs.
multiple songs. Yeah,
And Torpedo Girl too, I believe, is a Ace song, isn't it?
it is an Ace song. Yeah.
I just like when it starts like with the submarine, and it's like you have the pings and stuff. I love this album. I mean, I listen to it frequently.
To each his own.
Yeah. And now number 9 is gonna be something that's maybe a little controversial here, but I'm gonna put Lick It Up.
Okay.
And I find Lick It Up, it's a great album. It's got Vinnie Vincent written all over it, and
Right.
it's really good. It starts off with a great song. I really like that first song.
Exciter, I
Um,
believe it was.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Not to be confused with the Judas Priest song of the same name.
No, they're both great songs. I
Yeah.
really, yeah. It's. I think it hasn't been for Vinnie Vincent. I don't think Kiss would have their second win.
Yeah. Agreed. So again, uh, very similar to Peter Chris, who, according to Paul, he overinflated his importance to the band, which I believe they thought the same with Vinnie Vincent. But you can't deny how much help he gave them with those songs. I mean, I think
Absolutely.
I don't think he got enough credit for that.
Nope, he doesn't.
Yeah.
And he has like demo tapes and stuff. So if they've been best friends, he probably would have shared those hours and hours of demos they jammed together. And but
Right. Yeah.
it is what it is. And then this is kind of funny because number 8, I got Creatures of the Night.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that album is coming with a deluxe edition now in November, I believe. It's $400 or $500, and it's like you got 4 or 5 CDs with demos, and you
Damn.
got the CD2 with live material from 82, 83, and a lot of pictures and a lot of goodies in it.
I don't know. I must be losing my hearing because I thought I heard you say $400 or $500.
Yep, yep.
Son of a bitch.
I bought Destroyer
Olden
last year
being
for
the
300
capitalist.
and some dollars.
You said you bought it?
I bought the Destroyer last year for $350, I think, the deluxe box for Destroyer.
And just well, when we get to Destroyer, I'll ask you about that. But I of
Yeah.
course I do have a question or two for you. But all right, so go ahead. What's next? What do you got?
Destroyer, number 7.
Okay. Oh, how about that? So what did you think of the 45 45th anniversary set?
I really liked it. I thought the sound has been significantly improved, and you got more of the orchestration and filled up the void that was kind of. It had a big sound, but it really didn't have the punch it now
Uh-huh.
got with bringing out the orchestral, bringing out the bass, like giving it a full impact. So I like it a lot.
Well, that's good. What did you think of the recording that they gave you from Paris, I believe it was, the concert?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's the cream of the crop, really.
I mean, to me,
It's
it was like Kiss Alive with a couple of songs from Destroyer. Of course, it sounded like it was early in the tour because they played Flaming Youth early in the tour and then they cut it out of their set. But
that's a shame because Flaming Youth
yeah.
is a good song. It's a song, I believe.
Well, he co-writes it. I know that.
Okay.
But yeah, it was his only
Yeah,
co-write on the album. Yeah,
that album is kind of this album is kind of I know it's a big album, but for me it's kind of like it's Bob Ezrin's baby.
right. Yeah.
And it's such a I know it's such a strange turn. It's kind of probably like Elder was for you. It's like, all right, this is wow.
Well, I
But
know that they were going for a bigger sound in the studio, and supposedly Bob Ezrin ran into Paul Stanley, and he said, if you know, he said to him, if you ever want to make a better sounding album, let me know. And Paul, he took him up on it, but the rest is history.
yeah,
And
I
you know
mean
what?
Detroit, God of Thunder, uh, yeah, they are endless classics.
Right. But
So
they definitely gave him that more live sound that they were looking for, that bigger
yeah,
sound. Yeah, but we'll get into
absolutely.
some of their quality of their recordings. But so that was your seven, I believe, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so what's number six?
Number six is Love Gun.
All right, okay. What do you like about Love Gun?
I mean, the sound, like we talked about, that sound is so great. I mean, it just has the bass punch, it has the guitars, it has the vocals.
Right.
I find it a very good sounding album.
All right.
Yeah, I like, and but unlike you, I like Almost Human because it's so cool. It's like totally something out of left field that you didn't see coming, and it just has a nice like
Right.
it's Simmons. He got a good Simmons over it.
Yeah. Well, one song we didn't talk about. What do you think of the song "Hooligan"? Peter Chris's song.
I think it's great. Peter Chris doesn't get anywhere close to the
Yeah.
respects he
Yeah.
deserves
Right.
because he's the older guy in the band. He is the one that got the influence, and I believe he influenced Gene and Paul much more than they
Mm.
give him
Right.
credit for because they have said some pretty nasty things about him,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I feel is below the belt. But
Yeah.
then I don't know his personality when he's drunk and when he's with them all the time.
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't pick it out of the air, but
I've heard some bad stories.
yeah. But as of musical wise, I think he is fantastic.
I mean, he has a very unique voice, so there's no getting
Yeah,
around that.
he's like the U.S. version of Rod Stewart.
Yeah. Yep. All
So
right. Then.
yeah, I
Okay.
believe that
So
concludes my third round.
okay. Good. So what we will do is we will go back to the PowerPoint.
Yep,
There it is.
I really like this PowerPoint idea you have started with. I think it's
Oh,
great
thank you.
because it's yeah, but it makes it like so the view is so great to follow what you're saying, and you can like.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, so this was one, so in a former job that I used to do, that was one of my primary responsibilities, doing PowerPoints for the salespeople for our big whales, we would call them, when we were going after clients that were worth a million or more. I would be on that A team supposedly, and I would help prepare these PowerPoints for our salespeople. Now, the only problem is I can't do some of the things that I want to do because Sue has me set up with two monitors here, and if I wanted to do like all the little animations and stuff, it would end up on the wrong monitor that we're not displaying. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
which is a bummer, but we got this at least. So
yeah, we do.
ranking the albums 10 down to 1, and in the last video I had talked about some pictures that I had taken, so let's show that.
Yeah, I remember you talked about that.
So
Look
I
here
took these
now.
I took these pictures at PNC Bank Art Center in Homedale, New Jersey, August 2010. The only time I've ever seen a concert there. And as I mentioned, I my good friend Pat got a 16th row. That's how I was able to get these amazing freaking pictures. I mean,
Wow,
look at how close we are to Gene. Look at Paul there. I mean,
beautiful guitar.
Tommy is ace with his silver Les Paul, and
Yeah,
then Eric Singer. I mean, singing and drumming doesn't get any better than that. So okay, so for my number 10, and you mentioned this already, Carnival of Souls. It's an okay album, not a bad album.
nope.
It's kind of heavy. It's very grungy. Uh, Good songs that I kind of like. Hate, Rain, Master and Slave, I Will Be There. Uh, Bad, it never goes away. It's just a little too plotting, I think. Most of the other songs kind of fall in between, but as I mentioned, they held this album till a 1997 release because of the fact that they got back together with Peter and Ace for that reunion tour. So, Carnival of Souls. So my
Yeah.
number 9, which I believe was your number 9, Lick It Up.
Yes, sir.
So
Our first.
again, not really any bad songs on this album. I
Nope.
love Exciter, Lick It
Yep.
Up, Give Me More, All Hell's Breaking Loose. Really good
Oh,
song.
good song. Good song.
So back in I think it was January of 1985. So I had transferred to SUNY New Paltz where I met Pete. And there
Hmm.
was a station in the area in the Hudson Valley called WPDH out of Poughkeepsie, New York, where SOT Fest is going to be uh, in a couple weeks. But I remember they played the title track "Lick It Up," and the first time I heard it, I'm thinking to myself, "Yes, they're back. They
Yeah.
sound good again. Thank God." So that was that. So my number 8, you may be a little surprised, and I'll tell you why. Dress to Kill.
Holy bleep.
Uh,
Yep.
don't get me wrong, there are some really good songs on this album. I mean, some songs that I absolutely love. So I love Room Service, Two Timer, Ladies in Waiting, Getaway. I love one of my favorite all-time Kiss songs is Lover All I Can. That made my number 2 list when I did it with Pete. The top
Great
songs.
song.
Come On and Love Me is good. Songs I don't like. I do not like anything from My Baby. I can't stand that song.
Hmm.
Rock and Roll All Night. I don't like that version. It's just a little too vanilla. 2 verses, and then a chorus that they repeat 1,000 times. I like the live version better, obviously. But the thing that kind of forced this album down the list for me is the fact that the whole album only clocks in at about 29 minutes. In fact, the songs are so short that they had to put extended spacers in between the songs to widen the album. You're
Yeah.
just not getting your money's worth. Imagine today buying the vinyl of Dress to Kill and paying $25 for 29 minutes worth of music. Or should I say 28 and a half minutes worth of music? Not much of a bargain.
It was a turbulent time in the record company. They used too
Yeah,
much money on substances, and I
yeah,
would guess this album was kind of forced.
yeah. But and supposedly, yeah, they wrote the album as they were doing it, but some of the songs came translated well. And I got this rare concert where they played Ladies in Waiting once or twice, and I think Detroit. I loved it. It was amazing. So
Cobo
what's
Arena,
that? Huh?
Cobo Arena.
Cobo Hall, yep. All right, so that's my number 7, my number 8. My number
Mhm.
7, which you mentioned, Revenge. Uh,
Oh,
it's a pretty good effort. Uh, I think it's a better effort by Bob Ezrin than the music of the Elder.
hmm.
And I'm
Yeah.
getting a phone call, which I hit the FU button. Yeah. So okay, so yeah, so good effort, good production by Bob Ezrin. I love the song Unholy, Tough Love, Spit, Domino, which you mentioned. I love that. I Just Wanna. Songs that I don't like. God Gave Rock and Roll to You. I'm sorry. It was a remake of a song that Russ Ballard did with, was it Argent? No,
I think so.
I didn't like it. Every time I look at you, eh. I think it was okay for the when they played it during the unplugged set in New York, but it's okay. So that's Revenge. Good effort and good production by Bob Ezrin. So number 6, Hot in the Shade. I know you gave it a very low rating, but I got to
Yeah.
tell you, I think it's a fine collection of songs. I love the song Rise to It. I love Eric Carr's song Little Caesar. I think that's an
Mhm.
amazing tune. Hide Your Heart, Prisoner of Love, Read My Body, Forever. And I especially like Gene's song Cadillac Dreams. So that's Hot in the Shade, 1989. I thought it did win me over. So
Yeah. This is I really like this because it shows the difference between you being them from the start. I came in kind of
right.
on
Yeah.
the after fumes.
Well, it's, you know what? Well, it's good to have some varying perspectives on it. But
Yeah.
in any event, okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to go to your top 5.
Here it comes, the cream of the crop. I've been using some time now to finalize my because it's so hard because one day you like this album, next day you may feel a little different, and it's like, yeah, I like this album better today, and it's like deciding on, yeah. So number 5 for me is their debut album, Kiss.
Okay. And
It's
and why is that?
it's great songs, but production sound
Yeah,
is the reason. It's got nothing
right.
to do with the boys. I think it's the producers and trying to get it out cheap
Yeah. I mean,
and
who ever
forcing
heard of
them to have
Kenny
that.
Wise and Richie Wise
Huh?
and Kenny Kerner? Who ever heard of Richie Wise and Kenny Kerner? Oh, and there goes Miley barking.
Yeah, and
So,
they have to force that cover song on the album too.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was a late entry. Kissing Time. Yeah,
Yeah, they didn't want it there.
no,
And I personally understand why it would be good B-side,
yeah.
but
Well, I think they were looking for a hit song. So
then they could have put out just Strutter and you're good to go.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I those they are, except Kissing Time, they are all perfect songs. I mean,
What do you think of Love Theme from Kiss?
I like it. I am one of those that really like it. I find
So
it's kind of like almost human. It has that kind of dark Gene vibe.
yeah, and it was
I'm
the
sure it's a Gene song.
do 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 do.
Yeah,
Uh, it started with the name Acrobat, and they changed the name to Love Theme from Kiss. But yeah, and it was the only song
actually,
that got
Kissology 3. There's that show from Commentary. I
right,
think that they have that song on it.
right. Okay, so
Of course, Cold Gin is,
yeah, love Cold Gin.
yeah, it's great. And Black Diamond is going to be forever classic. That's Peter
Yep,
Criss.
yep,
So the songs has just the production. I hope they go back and really bring out the meat and put the meat back on the bones for that recording,
yeah,
like they did on Destroyer. I think it will be a night and day experience.
yeah. That would be nice if they yeah if they did a a remix.
Yeah, bring out some of the leads and yeah.
Right.
So number 4, we got Rock and Roll Over.
Rock and roll over. All right.
Yeah, I think my favorite song on that album is a song. No, sorry, it's a Pete song. Like
Oh,
Paul
baby.
Stanley song,
Paul Stant, which song is that?
Mr. Speed.
Oh, Mr. Speed. I've always wondered about that song. The ladies call me Mr. Speed. Uh, isn't that like a misnomer? Shouldn't the ladies want him to be slow? You know, to slow and long. It's like as opposed to saying Mr. Speed, where he's just shoots it out in 2 minutes and he's done.
I guess I don't
I've
know.
always
It
wondered
depends how
about that.
many. I guess it depends on how many girls there are in the room.
I know for Jeannie,
They have
Gene
privileges
would
that
have
you
to
and me
be
don't
Mr.
have.
Speed. Yeah. I'm sorry, what did you say?
They have privileges that you and me don't have.
Yeah, I know Gene does.
Yeah. And Rock and Roll Over. I mean, it's such a great album. It's an album I personally think it's better than Destroyer because I like the songs, I like the sound better. It's more rock and roll. It's more dirty sounding. It's more
I
back to
think
the
I
kid
agree with
sound.
you. Yeah. Well, you'll see in mine. I agree with you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and the artwork is so cool. I mean, I like Destroyer and Love Gun artwork, but Rock and Roll Over has such a cool artwork. It's just so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it was very cool for its time. Yeah. Remember, a
Yeah,
lot of people would take that decal and put it on their notebook in school. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
Anthrax did use it, borrow it, and made it purple.
Ah, interesting.
Because Anthrax has always been fond
Right.
of Kiss.
Anthrax, you talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, you looking to pull something up?
No, I'm going over the songs here because
Oh, okay.
I like Mr. Speed, but I also like See You in Your Dreams.
Yeah, right.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a
And of
good
course,
song.
Calling Dr. Love,
Oh yeah,
it's
that was that
a
A
dream
solo.
classic.
Yeah, that A solo was to die for.
Yeah, and you got Hard Luck Woman, which is
Mm,
I guess it was supposed to follow Beth, but
Yeah.
Uh, if you really listen to Hard Luck Woman, it's a great song. I mean, it's got a great beat to it, and
Mhm.
it's great lyrics, and I think he sings it with passion. There's a
Right.
really good passion in Pete's voice.
Well, that's cool.
So yeah. So over then to number three.
Number
We,
three, what do you got?
we got The Elder.
Whoa. Okay.
I love that album. I think it's so fantastic. It's the best vocal performance of Paul I have ever heard. It's he sings with so much passion in it, and it's kind of a rocky album because Ace did come in for his parts, and Paul recorded his parts in one part of town, and Gene recorded his part of the album on the other side of town, and he was going to bring in a child choir, and he was going to bring in this and that, and like put everything into that album, which Paul wasn't very fan of. So I
Right.
have to agree with Paul there.
Right. I know Ace hated it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's I enjoy the album a lot. It was given out my birth year. I'm not partial because of that, but it's I really like the sound. I like it because there's no album before it or no album after it that sounded the same. And over the years, I think the album was released ahead of its time. I
Right.
think it came in a wrong period of time.
Right.
If it
Yeah.
come later, when concept album, because concept album was something of the 70s, not of
Yeah.
the 80s.
Right. But also the fact that they put this album out when they were kind of losing their fans and they were losing their momentum, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was just very odd, but
yeah,
it's what
I
it is.
really like it. I think it's fantastic.
So,
I
so
like
you speak for the
Blackwell, Escape
minority
from the
that
Island,
really like it. Okay.
A World Without Heroes. I
Mhm.
like that slow bass beat and Gene's talking and singing. Under the Rose, Only You, Dark Light, The Oath. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I love that album. I came in at
Just
a period where
just a boy. That song just that it totally lost me.
I think Paul sings fantastic. There is so much passion
Yeah.
in his vocal. But yeah,
Yeah, but
we are
I don't
different.
think that song was right for them. But what are you gonna do? Um, actually, okay. So I'm sorry, I had to pause for a split second because my laptop was losing its battery power, so I had to go scrounge for my cord. So we are up to Ove's number two. What do you got, Ove?
My number two is Dress to Kill.
Ah, okay. We just talked about Dress to Kill.
I love that album. I mean, it's you got I don't know where to start even. I could just mention all the songs in their order on the album. It's one
Yeah.
after another. But I really like She. I think She is a
Yes,
fantastic number.
that's actually a song that I didn't mention. Good mention there. Yeah, that is a
Yeah,
great song. Yeah.
it's it's I like it because it's the album also has a faster pace
Yeah.
than the other and the albums preceding it. It really picks up the pace and get it like a good rockers. It
Yeah.
really made into great live songs, I
Yeah.
think. And yeah, it's I believe it's is it the album where Ace got more credits for songs.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, Getaway and he he uh he wrote the intro to Rock Bottom.
Rock Bottom is a great track.
Rock
And of
Bottom.
course they got the song that you didn't like too much on this album, Rock and Roll All Night, which is a
I
classic.
know it. you know what? It was a hit, but I think they embellished on it. It was better on the live album, and they got their first big hit out of it. So
That's the same
kudos.
too for Come On and Love Me. Come On and Love Me too is fantastic live.
Yeah, yep,
When you
but
got more meat in on the bones.
yep.
Yeah.
I already
So
told you
yeah,
my favorite song on that album, "Love Her All I Can."
yeah, it's a good song. It's a good song. You got great taste, sir. Excellent taste. Even though we're different in some places, when it counts, we know what's best.
Right. Okay,
And
so without further ado, I think I know what your number one is, so I will let you go.
yeah, my number one is gonna be Hotter Than Hell.
All right.
Yeah,
And what do you like
it's
about
such.
Hotter Than Hell?
I like it so good because they flew from New York or drove down to LA. They got. I know it. This album has a dark, murky sound. They are
Yes.
not happy with the sound at all.
And
None
I
of the
could
band members.
understand that because it's got a great sound, I think. But
It's got a dirty rock sound and it's got great songs and it's so cool. And the only thing that's kind of a little half interesting about the album is the artwork. The artwork could have been better.
yeah,
Like if they put them in colors at least. If you
supposedly
have put
Paul
them,
was supposedly Paul was drunk during the photo shoot of that album. And
yeah,
Ace had been in a car accident, so they actually had to airbrush half his face. They couldn't even put
yeah,
makeup on half his face. Yeah,
huh.
yeah,
Now this is the first cassette I bought. I was 11 or 12 years old, and I got it, because of the artwork, because of the Japanese theme and
right.
the paint in the face. And I remember the cassette was kind of like light green, and it had like white letters like on the songs. I didn't know a word of English. I bought it in my neighbor town here at a back in those days when I was starting to buy albums. It was like early 90s. And here in Norway, you usually had like a Photoshop where you took pictures and got pictures like
Hmm.
and then they had like a music section.
Ah, okay,
So it's like sound picture in the same place.
okay, very
There were
nice.
stacks, and I found that one. I bought also our Maiden Fear of the Dark around that same but that's a different time, different story. Well, I got this cassette, so this cassette has been with me for wow, now it's 30 years. 30
Wow.
years. So I
Do you
mean
have
it
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 with you or
has
no?
a good feeling for me. It's got to choose and
Yeah,
Parasite baby.
good. Yeah, great tune.
Yeah, that's a
Actually,
Ace Gene
that's another song
collaboration.
where I like it better on Kiss Alive because he's got some kind of effect on his Les Paul. Or it's kind of a I don't know, maybe he's playing it through a wah wah pedal or something, but
That could be.
yeah, because I just love that really full sound. Yeah,
And Gene is really strong on this album. I mean, Watching You,
yeah.
it's
Oh, I love
really
watching
great.
you. Yeah,
And then, of course, maybe the coolest song on the whole album for me is Ace and Peter collaboration. And then we are talking,
Strange Ways.
yes, that
Well,
song
when I
is
get to Hotter Than Hell,
fantastic.
I'll talk about that too. Yeah,
Yeah, and of course we got Mainline, which is Peter's song.
yeah. Well,
I
the
think
funny
it.
thing
I think
about Mainline, I read that Peter, Paul wrote the song, and Peter actually threatened to quit if he didn't sing on that song. So they kind of,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So Paul had to give him the song, basically. I don't think he was happy about it, but it is what it is.
yeah. And then you also got like deeper themes here. I mean, like Going Blind without going
Yeah.
further
Yes. That's
down
a great
the
theme.
rabbit hole. It's kind of a dark themed song,
Yeah.
but it needs to be addressed. So it's and Harder Than Hell, of course, all the way watching you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well,
then
by
you
the
got
way,
East on Coming Home. I mean, I should leave some
yeah,
songs for you. But that's my top song album of Kiss.
okay. Get ready to be surprised with mine.
Yeah, I don't. There's no, we can't get the elder, so there's no
Yeah.
more surprises. Or this is going to be interesting to see how you rock this baby.
Okay. Why is it? Okay, there we go. So let's go move down. So my number 5, Creatures of the Night. So again, not really any bad songs. I love Creatures of the Night. I Love It Loud, War Machine, Killer, Saint and Sinner, Rock and Roll Hell. For me, this was their real comeback album after The Elder. They were
It's
dying.
also I'm going to give a shout out. It's also Chris Allo's favorite Kiss album.
Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah, I could see that. Well, I mean, he is a little younger than me, so I can see that. But and I don't think he's a fan of The Elder by any imagination, or Unmasked. So you would have to see that, and they really needed to put this album out. Otherwise, it might have been lights out for them. We might not
I
still
guess
be seeing them in concert today.
I may have to go to the Contrarians to find some support for the elder.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. All right, so my number 4, which we discussed all these by now, Destroyer. So, great album, a big breakthrough from a production standpoint, as it were. Bob Ezrin, the legend goes that he was a kind of a drill sergeant with them, as far as even wore a whistle around his neck, and he would say, "Ready to go to work, campers." And
Yeah, yeah.
Paul basically called it musical boot camp. But you know what? The results, I mean, what do you have? Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World, God of Thunder, Flaming Youth, Shout It Out Loud, Do You Love Me? Where'd you go, Ove?
I'll be right there.
All right. Maybe he has something to show us. So while he gets back, Beth, not too crazy about Beth. I mean, it was a big hit, but uh ah oh, that's your Destroyer box set.
Yeah,
Very nice. That you paid hundreds of dollars for, huh?
350, I believe.
Wow.
And you got it here. And I really also like that they have brought the artwork is really nice here. I mean, like they got the
Yeah,
fire really going, and yeah,
right. Okay. Very nice. Awesome. So yeah, really the only song I don't really care for is, Beth is okay. Great Expectations and what's Sweet Pain, but other than that, a great album. Great jumping off point for Kiss. A great way to keep their success going after Kiss Alive.
On my favorite song on that album is actually not their song. I found out this later years. I always thought it was their song, but it's not.
What's that?
King of the Nighttime World.
Yeah, no, I know it was a redo, but another song on in that box set that I really liked is "Ain't None of Your Business." I wish that would have been included on the album.
Yeah,
That was a song that Peter sung. Yeah, but
yeah. There's demos here,
but
and don't
of
you
all the
hesitate.
extras, I liked "Ain't None of Your Business" the best. But Okay,
Yep.
so let's keep this moving along. So my
Yep.
number 3, I think you're gonna know all these as I get through them. The Kiss self-titled debut.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it? 7 out of the 10 songs made it to Kiss Alive. All great songs. I mean,
I agree.
uh, what's the Nothing to Lose, which is about it, basically anal sex of all things.
Yep. Yep.
Firehouse, Cold Gin, Deuce, Black Diamond, 100,000 Years. It doesn't get any better than that. But as you said, I picked it as my number 3 because of the song value. But as you said, it doesn't have the power that that the like the songs that played live in concert. So shame on you, Richie Wise and Kenny Kerner, for not making this album better. But that was my number 3. So my number 2, Rock and Roll Over. This is the first album that I ever bought, and I did buy the LP back in 1978. Great album. Pretty much the only song I don't really care for is Hard Luck Woman. I mean, I love I Want You, Take Me, Ladies Room, amazing song. What else? Making Love is a great song. Baby Driver is pretty cool. Love Him and Leave Him's a great song. So Calling Dr. Love, of course, with that great Ace Frehley solo. So getting to my number 1, which I think you know, and we are in agreement on this.
Yep.
Hotter Than Hell. Yeah. Actually, I bought this album a little later, so the order of the albums that I bought. So first I bought Rock and Roll Over. Then I got Destroyer. Then I got Kiss Alive 2. Then I got Love Gun. Then my brother got Kiss Alive. So then from that, that was my first introduction to those old songs. So that's when I went back and I bought Hotter Than Hell and loved it. Yeah. I bought all of them actually, but I think I bought Hotter Than Hell first. But for me, those songs stood out the most. I mean,
Hotter Than Hell was Dave Mustaine's first Kiss album too.
yeah, I believe it. But so Watching You was actually both mine and Pete's number 1 in our top 10 Kiss songs. So what else? What's the third song? So it's Got to Choose is great. Parasite's amazing. Going Blind, that's it. Amazing tune. It's their first I wouldn't call it a ballad, but it's more of like a power ballad, but a dark ballad kind of thing.
Yeah, dark.
What's the song? Rock and Roll. Let Me Go Rock and Roll. I mean, it's too short. I think they needed to. I like the live version better. Obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true about that song.
All the Way, great song. Watching You, we talked about. Mainline, the song that Peter almost quit over. Coming Home, it's quite good.
Yeah, that's a great one. Did they ever play that one live?
No. They did play Coming Home on the Unplugged. Now, Strange Ways.
Yeah, that's true.
I saw Ace solo a couple times. They did play Strange Ways in a solo concert, and the gentleman that Ace is, he always gave the song to somebody else in his band. Usually, he would give it to his drummer to sing.
Yeah.
So Ace would sing most of the songs in his solo show, but he would always give at least one song to every member of his band. And Strange Ways, yeah. Strange Ways he gave to his drummer. I don't know his name, but I blew my mind every time he played it on stage. I thought it was wonderful. So
It's they can play it so really heavy and slow. It's just like
but what about that solo? I mean, That's the most killed. I think that's his best solo of all his work with Kiss.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's something else. It's like out of this world kind of guitar solo.
right. So anyway, so get a good look, everybody, because I'm gonna stop sharing in a moment. So my 5 down to 1 is Creatures of the Night, Destroyer, Kiss self-titled debut, Rock and Roll Over, and of course, Hotter Than Hell. So any last words?
I thought it was a really interesting thing to go through the album, get to talk, share some stories. Everybody got a Kiss story. So
Yep.
I really like that. Hopefully someone down in the comments will share their Kiss story with a particular album or that
Well,
too. It's a
I'm
good
gonna
topic.
I'm gonna try and share this around Facebook, because I think we got this episode is gold here. This was a really fun one to put together.
Yeah.
So, but in any event, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap up now. On behalf of Ove Rendum, I'm gonna say good night to everybody. This is Jack Toledano speaking for All or Nada according to Jack. If you like what I do, please subscribe. Please tell all your friends about us. Please have them subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you at the next episode. And so for Ove, I will say good night and have a
Thank
pleasant
you for
tomorrow.
having me. This has been really fun and I hope we can do it again.
All righty. Have a good one.